we got the used transmission from eBay, Polaris Sportsman. We're going to put it back in today and see if it runs. So let's cut it open. Let's cut it open and see what we got. Nice bag too. Here she is. She punctured. So here's a new one compared to the old one. The new one, they stripped out 2 electronic components, allowing the ECU to know, when it's in gear, when it's not in gear, park and all that. So I got to transfer over those 2 connections to the new one, and I got to transfer that bolt over, and then it should be good. So you can see here, this black plug and this black thing right here, I'm gonna need to transfer over to the new one. So let's get into it. So here's the old transmission. I'm going to be using a 3/8 socket right there. Just go on this one, unscrew it, take that out, and then just tip the transmission down and wiggle it out. Just like that, and there it is. Here's the old sensor. I'm going to need to put in a new transmission. Set that down there. Tip it back up. And then we need to get this out, which has a C-clip right there. We need to punch out. And that looks like it should be it. So here's the old transmission. I've already removed this plug, and now I'm going to do this plug. All you're gonna do is slip this C-clip off with the flathead screwdriver, and then just pry at all the edges, and then just wiggle it out, and it'll come right out just like that, right out of that shaft. And now I'm gonna put those 2 on the new one. So here's the new transmission, here's the new plug. I just cleaned it up with some brake parts cleaner before I'm installing it. Before you do install, make sure this O-ring is good right there, and if not, replace it. I'm just going to keep the old one because it seemed to work fine, so I'm just going to stick this thing in here. Just like that. Line up the screw hole. Take my 3/8 socket, either on impact or ratchet, and just screw it in. Not too tight, you don't want to strip it or break the plastic electronic. And here is this sensor. All I'm going to do is put it on according to that shaft. It's like a little key right there. I'm going to push it on as far as it'll go so I can get that C-clamp on. So I'm going to push this on as far as it can go. Just like give it a little tap. So after giving it a few little taps, you can see it's got enough of an edge so that I can put this C-clip right on it. I'm going to need to put that C-clip right on like that. So now what we're going to do, I'm going to have to install a transmission from that output shaft to this one. Let me see. This shaft right here. The end of it has to go to the output shaft to the transmission, and that goes to the front differential. So it'll probably be easier with 2 people, but I'm gonna have to make it work with 1. Alright, let's put it in. I'm gonna prop up a shaft with something right now. See if it makes it a little easier. Again, what I said with how easy this would be with 2 people. Okay. Let me try again. Okay, sorry for that. I just missed it. So I got it in. I just need to somehow push it up more, so I can get these bolts in. So, more messing around. It's installed. Okay, time to bolt it up now. So next thing I'm going to be doing is installing these 2 bolts in the front of the transmission, up where the drive shaft and front differential is. These are 1/2 inch, so I need a 1/2 inch socket and a 1/2 inch wrench to hold down the other side. So this bolt I slid in right here. It's at the bottom of this frame right there. Nuts on the other side. I'll take this one now. This one goes right into here. I can just wiggle it around. I'm gonna have to just how to fiddle it a little bit. Just push it in all the way in, and just like that, it's in. 1 and 2. Here's the nut for the top one. Get up. Here they both are on the other side. Screw that on. And these are both, let me see. These are both 1/2 inch. So let me get my 1/2 inch wrench and we'll screw these down. So now I'm going to be bolting this larger bolt into this very back bolt hole right here. You just unscrew this really quick. And I need to jack the transmission up. So now I got this large bolt in here. I'm just gonna pick up on the transmission and wiggle it through that last little bolt hole, and then I'm gonna tighten it down. I think this is, ooh. So this bigger bolt's a 9/16. So let me get my Then again, I'm going to come back and hand tighten all these bolts once I've done just the initial bolt downs. So now we have these two plates. They bolt on just like that. right there. They line up with those two holes and line up with that bottom one right there. And there's two on each side. The top two bolts thread right through, and the bottom left one is one of these tiny bolts that just screw right in. It's threaded. So I want to be installing this first plate right here, right there, top two. These two big bolts, they just bolt right through. Put these right through there. This one right through there. And then the bottom one, again, is this little screw, which I'm pretty sure is a, let's see, it is a 9/16, so I'm just going to screw this one in. Screw that one in, and then let me go to the other side and put this one on. This side you can't really see very well. Let me just bring this shock up. Right here is the other two sides. Just hold this shock by head. Put this one, put that on. Right here. And then I'm going to do this one on here. Finish it in. There we go. Yeah. Let it down with that. Now we have 9/16 mesh, 9/16 socket, and I might need top two on. So now I'm going to be putting this top structure piece right here. Goes 1, 2, 3, 4, and sits right on top of the transmission. Got these 4 bolts and nuts, and put them right. Now putting this top structure piece on. Just going to go like this. Line up the holes. Your bolts in there. And you screw one on, like that. One, let me do that. And the next two. You actually have it, so you know. Here, finish. So now we got the bolts in, put it down, and then up there. I got my half socket, half trash, and just tighten down. Like that. Good. One. Oh. There we go. This top member is installed. So now I got this longer bolt. You're gonna be putting it right in this hole. But as you can see, this top frame is sagging, so you're gonna have to lift up on it and get some force on it to put that bolt through that hole. So I've got my 2 smaller bolts. They go right next to the through bolt, 1, and on the other side, 2, right there. Take my 9/16 socket and screw them in. So here's the bracket. Here are the bolts to the top 2, 1, 2, and then this is a through bolt to the transmission right there. So let's get it installed. I'll take a bracket, put it here. I'm going to put the bolt in first and that one. The inside, just like that. So I get a branch inside here. I would be able to stop anything. Put these right on. I'm going to take a 1/2 inch socket and a 1/2 inch wrench. Stick that there. Like that. Or just tighten it. Do something on this side. And now the wrench is on the thick bolt. And then close it. Probably on the bracket. Move it down a little bit. So the best way is to loosen these before you really tighten down and through bolt it, and then tighten the top 2 down. Where's on there? And the through bolt is also happening. Tighten screws down. That. Then tighten these top. These top guys. And then. Like that. Now that bracket's installed and the through bolt's installed, it'll be good. So now next up, we're going to be installing these 2 Allen key or star pattern bolts on the bottom right here. These are the final mounting points of the transmission. So now I have my 2 star bolt pattern bolts, and they're just gonna go right at this bottom bracket right there. You see these star pattern bolts go right there. So you see bottom of the transmission go down here, and then they're gonna go right there. So now I have my two star bolt pattern bolts, and they're just gonna go right at this bottom bracket right there. You see those? These star pattern bolts go right there. And you see bottom of the transmission go down here, and then they're gonna go right there. So I'm gonna put my attachment on my impact, and then just be easy with it. Not too bad. So I go back and anti, especially because I don't strip out these star angles. Now I do this side, just right here. Go ahead. Real easy, and just tighten it down. And then transmission should be mounted to the frame. So now the transmission is installed, I'm going to be doing another video in a couple of days of putting all the suspension back together and the clutch all back together. So thank you for watching this video. Please like, share, subscribe, and go follow my Instagram. I'll be posting daily my new projects, updates on the Sportsman, and all that stuff.